Again. Okay, welcome everybody. We are here to talk about the very exciting world of lymphatics. And if you're someone who has been in our BooB CamP community for a while, you might know me. Hi, I'm Emily. I work with Chelsey in practitioner programs, in client education, in running the incredible business that is Chelsey Gene Lymphatics. I have a similar background to Chelsey. Started my professional career in the whole world of, originally it was the medical industry, and then I went into holistic medicine, and I was a body worker for many years, and that was over 30 years ago. And here I am now, ready to rock your world with all the magic of what's happening around our awareness of lymphatic function, the resources that we have available now. And for those of you who know us, you know us for the Chelsey Gene Lymphatic gloves and the dual action sequence. So I'm going to be sharing all about that tonight, sharing about our top strategies for lymphatic health. And I have a special interest. My special interest is fascia, and I'm going to be talking all about the wild and wonderful world of fascia. And we will kick off. I'm going to make sure I answer as many questions as I can tonight, as well as go through teaching you live the Chelsey Gene Lymphatic sequence with our dual action gloves, talking about everything fascia. Like I said, I'm going to do a special interest talk tonight on fascia because it's one of my special interest areas. I was a body worker for many years, and yeah, I worked extensively in sports medicine, and gosh, what is it? This year, I think this is my 10th year of being sort of obsessed with fascia. So I can see we are working in our Facebook community. Amazing. I think we've got our awesome admin Mads here with us as well. Hi Mads, anyone needs anything, you can comment and in the chat thread, and Mads will be able to answer your questions, sends you links, resources, all the things. So yes, tell me why you're here tonight. First of all, tell me where you are in the world and why you're here tonight, because maybe it's you've dealt with a health issue for a long time and you're not getting resolution from the Western medicine system. I think I'm looking at the right camera now for our Facebook people. Great. Perhaps you are someone who has been told maybe that you do have a lymphatic health condition, and there's maybe things like lymphedema is language that's been used, or even, if you get puffy ankles and swelling, you got cankles, maybe you get to the end of the day and your rings don't fit the same way, or that you wake up in the morning and you look and feel a certain way, but then by the end of the day, you are busting out of your pants and can't wait to whip your bra off because throughout the day you seem to accumulate fluid. Well, that's all lymphatic health. And lymphatic health and your lymphatic system, let's just be straight up about it. We are not educated on this. So I was educated in the conventional medicine system. I was educated at Sydney University, and I did all the anatomy and physiology units and stuff that we do for pre-med, for physios, for doctors and nurses, and zero mention of the lymphatic system. They kind of show you it on a diagram, and that's kind of that. And we get told that the lymphatic system is responsible for these lymphatic diseases and these lymphatic problems like chronic swelling, chronic edema. There's a little bit in the wound care units that they did about mostly about, that can cause you a bunch of problems. But there was never any, what do we do about that part of our body to make sure it doesn't become problematic. And that's really what the movement of Chelsey Gene Lymphatics, yes, this is our start with the boobs, because you always do your Chelsey Gene dual action sequence. We start at the chest, and I'll explain why if you've not done the sequence before. Please also feel free to share in our comments on Facebook and on Instagram if you're already using our gloves, you're already doing the Chelsey Gene sequence, what's happening for you, what's happening in your life. Tell us what's going on. We'd love to share your story, share your experiences, answer your questions. So yes, they mentioned next to nothing about the lymphatic system. A lot of people learn about the lymphatic system and think that it's to do with, cancers, lymphoma, things like that. So we hear these words like lymph and lymphoma and lymphedema, swelling and stuff. And that's kind of the world that we've got. It is so much more complex, and thankfully the research is catching up. But Chelsey began her world of lymphatic exploration When she started out her career, she's been working with bodies for over 30 years, and she found that there was this thing in common with all these people. And what was going on is that the lymphatic system was struggling. And so she got obsessed, like anyone who does something phenomenal on this planet. She got obsessed with, why don't we know about it? Why aren't we told about this? What are the strategies, and how do we help people? So yeah, tell me where you are in the world. Pop it in your comments and let me know. Oh, here we go. And then also tell me why you're here tonight and what you want to learn from tonight's session, so we can delve deep into that and make sure that gets covered off for you. Hello, all you beautiful Facebook people. I can see you here. I've got your comments here, so I'm ready to respond to those as we go. Here we go. Okay, so let's talk first of all about what your lymphatic system is. Your lymphatic system does 5 big jobs. 5 big jobs. The first big job is that it transports waste out of your tissues. So it's taking all the byproducts of everything your body does. So every single day, in every single way, your body is working for you. It is hustling to make sure that we've got the right nutrients in our cells. It's making sure that we have the right level of pH in our blood. It is delivering energy to cells, and then of course that energy gets used. And you know, everything in life, there's an input and an output, right? So as soon as you've used all that energy, that has to get turned into something. It gets turned into waste, and then that waste gets transported around our system. Okay, so every single function, every single thing that we're doing, there's an input and an output. Hi, Christine Gray. She's saying she's watching from Darwin. Great to see you, Christine. Hi, tell us what you want me to cover tonight. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm Chelsey's right-hand woman at Chelsey Gene Lymphatics, and I'm here to answer all your questions tonight. We're going to do our amazing BooB camp. I'm going to show you how to use these babies. I'm going to answer any questions, and I'm going to do a deep dive on a special topic, which is our fascia. So make sure you tell me your questions and you pop them in the comments there. Alrighty, we've got, seeing all our beautiful people online. Hi, Josephine. Hello. Great. Hi, Lee. Here we go. Hello, hello. Oh, here we go. Got a whole bunch of other people on IG that I didn't see. Courtney, Anastasia. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, if you are here because you're looking for answers around your health and you are frustrated that things are too difficult, hard to find, we've got amazing Sarah. Hi, she's in Sydney, just started this week. What can I expect to see in the next week using this method? Oh, absolutely. I will take you through expectations, Sarah, 100%. Thank you for your comment. Okay, Sage, absolutely love these gloves. Pleased I found you. Chelsey, here we go. All the way down in the stunning little island called Tasmania. Hello for the bottom of the world. Hello, gorgeous. We've got Pen. Hi, Pen. Any supplements or dietary advice to help support fascia? Absolutely. Pen said, just got her gloves today. Amazing. Great. Can't wait to hear about your journey. Pavona, I think I'm saying your name right. Ever Emerging Crone. Oh, that's such a fabulous handle. Hey, Art. Nice to see you. Great, great. Okay. So let's see if I can keep up with comments. And let's kick off. I'm definitely going to talk about expectations, and I'll talk about supplements as well. Okay, again, like normal, this is the internet. I'm not giving you personalized medical advice. I'm giving you general education, general awareness, and in some cases, entertainment. All right, where we're going to be talking about real women, real bodies. We've got this huge online community that's all centered around lymphatic health and Chelsey's mission, which is to reach 5 million women, to impact the lives of 5 million women around the world. Now, I'm going to just make sure I do a little sanity check and I don't lose power for the Instagram people. Let's see, everything else is all plugged in, but let's make sure we don't lose power there. Here we go. Okay, beautiful. All right, so, oh, hi, we've got Larita. Hi, Larita. Beautiful. Hi, Albany Farm Fresh Foods. Hi, Gabby. Wonderful. All right, now we want to talk about what the lymphatic system does. I started off with that and then got all your wonderful messages. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The lymphatic system, like I said, first big function is that it is removing waste. So every input in our body has to have an output. When our blood transports nutrients and oxygen into all of our tissues, we go through the process of utilizing as best as we can. And, you know, let's tell the truth, a lot of us have compromised systems. A lot of us are acidic through stress, through EMF radiation, through not such great food supply, through, you know, choosing to do the opposite of a detox, which is like the retox. So the retox being adding a bunch of chemicals into our bodies that at the rate that we add them, our body simply can't keep up with. Okay, so yeah, gorgeous little cellular powerhouse, all these different systems that our body's trying to, you know, work furiously for us every day. And we are just constantly loading it through, you know, what's going in our mouth, what's going on our skin, the air that we breathe, the water quality, you name it. Our system is getting overloaded. And your lymphatic system is the waste collector. Okay, so that's the first big function of your lymphatic system, is that it's collecting waste and it's going through and ensuring that all of that waste is properly removed from your body. So just like a fish tank, Chelsey talks about how do you make a healthier fish tank? You clean the water with a filter. Okay, you make sure the chemical balance is right. So just like in a fish tank, like, yeah, you're just as sophisticated as a fish tank. All right. You need the right pH. You need the right chemistry. You need the right electrolytes, right? You wouldn't expect fish to swim around and be healthy in mucky water or water that's, you know, maybe clean, but it actually has completely the wrong chemical balance. Well, you are just as complex. You are just as delicate, and you are just as important as a little swimming fish in the aquarium. Okay, so there's these multiple layers, and your lymphatic system is like the control of the waste removal. Number one, it's also a huge transporter, critical transporter of your fat. So from the small intestine, all of the beginning nutrients that we break down in our digestion, that small intestine, we take the beginning chemicals and molecules that determine how our fat is distributed in our body, whether it's metabolically active fat, as in we can burn that fat, or whether it is visceral fat, if it goes to our organs, if it's used protectively, if it goes around our heart, our liver, if it's going to, you know, our ass, our thighs, our double chin, you name it. The lymphatic system is transporting that fat, and a real control switch for metabolism. So if you're someone who's had challenges with healthy metabolism, healthy utilization of energy, then you want to be so up in your grill about lymphatics and learning about your lymphatic system and how to empower it. We're here for that tonight. There's the third function that your lymphatic system does, which is that it's doing the work of moving all of that cellular waste, you know, through your body to get rid of it. But as it's doing it, it's cleaning as it goes. And it's cleaning as it goes by moving all of that fluid through all these little spongy areas. So I've got a sponge here. This is our konjac sponge that we use for a facial cleanser. We're re-releasing this soon. And all the little spongy tissues, all of the water or fluid, the lymphatic fluid, watery, right, moves through all of these different little things called lymph nodes. And inside the lymph nodes is where your immune detection is taking place. So if you've become immunocompromised, if you have not tolerated particular viruses in the past, if you've got long COVID, if you've reacted badly to vaccinations, if you've been vaccinated by things, your lymphatic system, all these little lymph nodes, everything has to pass through these guys. They are the checkpoints. They're the bodyguards, the police, the customs, whatever you want to call them, the border control. They are scanning every single little drop of lymphatic fluid, and you've got anywhere between 8 and 15 liters of lymphatic fluid moving through your body every day. It is not little, and it's more than you have actual blood. And they are doing the work of inspecting it and going, is there any viruses, bacteria, protozoa, yeast, fungi? What's going on in here? Are there any foreigners that shouldn't really be here? And if you've got autoimmune issues, if you've got chronic inflammatory responses, if you react to foods, if you get the histamine flushes, if you're seasonal allergies, all the things, IBS, you want to be interested in what is triggering these immune responses. So you want to be really empowered about your lymphatic system, because your lymphatic system, it is not just these lymph nodes that are in all your major joints. You've got literally hundreds in your torso protecting you from what you breathe in, from what you ingest, what's going into your skin, what are you putting on your armpits, OMG. We've got to be very careful about what we put into our body, because everything has to pay the toll. Everything has to go through all these spongy structures that are everywhere. Now, most people only know about one lymphatic structure. They know about their tonsils, right? So who knows about their tonsils? Who's had their tonsils removed? Let me see your chat there. I saw someone just post as well saying they wanted to know that if the recording, if they can catch it live later. Yes, absolutely you can. Here we go. Oh, I can see some more comments, but I don't know if I can read them as I go live. Let me try. I might need some help with reading all the comments live. Okay, so with your tonsils, yeah. So Lisa, thank you. Yeah. So when you're sick and your tonsils are up, right? So if you touch them normally, your tonsils are spongy, right? They're just like squishy. Okay, so they're these lovely squishy, bouncy structures that a fluid is moving through. It's getting filtered, it's being scrutinized, we're checking if it's got anything. And then inside those lymph nodes is where your body launches its defenses against diseases. And this also means that it's patrolling you, because on any given year, we produce about 10,000 rogue cells, all different types of things that we call cancers, right? And our body naturally detects them, launches killer cells and T cells, takes them down. We're none the wiser, okay? It's when our system is overloaded, or our lymphatic system, what happens when the security guards get sick? What happens when they go deaf or blind? When they're not working properly, we cannot detect these normal cellular abnormalities that happen literally thousands of times a day, where our body can correct them, jump on top of them, address them, and essentially, neutralize the threat, right? Whether it be a virus, bacteria, or a cellular abnormality in your own body. That's, a reaction to environmental or chemical stress. So these lovely little structures, most people know about their tonsils, but yes, you have lymph nodes everywhere. And like I said, your chest and your abdomen, all through your digestive tract, you name it, you've got lymph nodes. And all of those pathways lead back to your chest. And you've got a huge lymph structure under your breastbone. It's like a shield. It's called your thymus. And that's responsible for producing a bunch of critical hormones and energy regulators and immune regulators. So this leads us to the fourth function of the immune system. Hey, angels. Hey, Khalees. And hey, Sarah Ivy. And this next function, the fourth critical function, is hormone regulation. So the hormone regulation, and I think Zoom is a bit laggy in Facebook, or that might just be my screen. I might just click it off. Okay, so we've got this fabulous structure. Oh, I can finally see all the chats properly. So we've got Toppers saying she had them taken out at 26. Oh, thank you, Mads. Yeah, if you could keep popping all the questions, Mads, into the Facebook stream. I've got that bit now, thanks. Okay, hey Cass, hi Sherry. So that fourth critical function of your lymphatic system, back on track, is your hormone regulation and hormone transportation. So recap for those of you who are just joining us, the lymphatic system is removing all the waste from your body, like the filter on the fish tank, but it's more than that, okay? It's not just a filter. It's also the security guards. It is launching your immune processes. It's the thing that detects if you're sick a couple of days before you even get symptoms, and it's the part of our body where we're creating all the incredible immune response to different and various invaders or our own problems. And if you've got any issues with your lymphatic system, yeah, you're going to start to get immune dysfunction as well. Okay, so autoimmune diseases, we really want to be paying attention to your lymphatic function. Oh, I can see Chelsey Jean there. Hello, and hey, Grace, nice to see you here too. So with your, oh, hey, Julie, nice to see you. Okay, so with that fourth function of your lymph being like a master switch in your hormones, yes, of course, it's related to metabolism. So hormones and metabolism, hand in hand, as any woman can tell you, we do not function metabolically the same way as men. We are different, yes, totally fine. Doesn't mean men don't have a lymphatic system. The lymphatic system does all the same gear, but women have a much more complex dynamic with all the different types of hormones and how our hormones affect metabolism. So sex hormones, energy hormones, mood hormones, hormones that tell us when it's time to exercise, hormones that tell us when it's time to go to sleep. You name it, they are all being transported through your lymphatic system. And if you care about hormonal health, you've had hormonal issues, you've taken anything that affects your hormone function, you get the brain fog, you get the fatigue, you get crappy symptoms, you've got a, metabolic, endocrine is hormones issues like PCOS, which is now PMOS, you need to be paying attention to your lymphatic system. So it's kind of like by now, we're only up to number 4 or 5 of the things that our lymph is doing for us all the time. And yeah, if you're not already sold and thinking, hang on, I care about all those things. I want to be as healthy and vital and have great cellular health and great hormone health and a kick-ass fiery metabolism and do my fat transportation properly, remove waste from my tissues, living in a really complex, dirty environment. Yes, you should be really interested in your lymphatic system. Okay, so then the 5th and final thing we're going to talk about with your lymphatic system is it's one of the critical elements to do with your healing. So the bit that most of the huts that go into your lymph, like we said, it's immune system, but immune system isn't just fighting off invaders. It's making sure our body knows how to repair itself. Okay, so lymph is made out of this clear fluid called plasma. So blood's pumped to the tissue, the heart pumps all the blood around your body. Let's just imagine it's my hand. So the blood goes into all my teeny tiny little cells, and some fluid, like each little space in the cell is not actually big enough for a blood cell to get into. So this fluid goes in, and when the fluid goes in and takes in its extra nutrients, takes it in, then our body has to clean it out. And there's no vessels there like blood, okay? There's no vessels there with a pump that are working. They sit in the tissues. And then in that tissue, it's this very gentle, slow process compared to the boom, boom, boom pump of the heart. This section of our body, it's like the full shadow of our circulatory system. So wherever there's blood moving, the lymphatic system is sitting right behind it. And it is scooping out all that waste, all the byproducts of tissue function, all the toxins, you name it, and it is collecting them and then gently being moved. It doesn't move, it is being moved. And it gets moved by breathing with your diaphragm. If you don't know how to breathe into your diaphragm, like, when you see a dog or a baby breathing and they have this lower part when we're, breathing in our upper respiratory tract, that's a stress breath. We need to get back to breathing big. What you're doing there is your diaphragm pushes down and it squeezes all the lymph loads in your abdomen. Yes, 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 yes. So if you're getting bloated around your stomach, if you're feeling like your pants are really tight at the end of the day, tight hips, swollen knees, achy knees, absolutely, cellulite, let's get our abdominal lymph nodes cleared. And we do that with our dual action glove sequence. We do that with deep breathing. Okay. The other critical and kind of generic, thanks Natty saying she loves her gloves. The other critical, someone's saying they've got a lipoma they want to get rid of. Oh, okay. We might be able to fit that in tonight talking about that. But we want to be understanding that there's this oversimplified explanation that our lymphatic fluid just moves because our muscles move. And yes, that's absolutely true. So of course we want to be moving this body. We want to be getting, blood into all of our cells. We want to be getting our waste out. Every time you contract a muscle or put an area under pressure, your lymph system is just like a sponge. Now, if I squeeze the sponge here, the water moves into here, right? And then if I squeeze that bit, oof, good. Okay, great. And now this bit pops up again, and guess what? Fluid's going to get sucked in. So it's a pressure and a vacuum system. And yes, your muscle movement, your contractions, your pressure, all of that stuff, body stimulation, touching, being upside down, twisting around, and deep breathing will move your lymphatic fluid. But most of us are sedentary these days. Like, we sit and we're still for an unhealthy amount of time. You know, like, what are they like? The biggest death predictor as a behavior is sitting down, right? Is being still. So we don't get the kind of movement and support for our lymph to move in day-to-day life. So yes, we use lymphatic drainage techniques. We use two types. So the spikes, we start with the spiky side, and we deliberately are first of all trying to stimulate and squeeze the sponge, right? So if you think about squeezing the sponge, you've got got lymphatic vessels and lymphatic nodes just under the surface of your tissue, right? Under your skin, superficially. So we start out by gently activating. For those of you who've got gloves, you can join in with me, okay? And we use the spiky side on bare skin, okay? We try to use the spiky side on bare skin. If your skin is fragile, if it has been damaged, if you have been dealing with like fragility, just think about this. No other part of our body do we say, oh, it's gotten a bit fragile, I will just leave it be. No. Things only go one way, right? So if your tissue is starting to degenerate, like if it scratches easily, if you bruise easily, obviously, of course, like I said, this is not me giving you medical advice. If you've got a clotting disorder or something, that does not apply to you. But regular function, okay, and even people with, factor 5 and all those things, they can still mobilize their lymphatic system. So if your skin is, breaking easily, papery, crepey, that is a sign, number one, that your circulation, your blood vessels are compromised, your circulation to that tissue, because nutrients isn't being brought in. And then, of course, then we have to understand, remember, there's the blood system, and then right behind it is the lymphatic system working hand in hand, right? So we also have to assume that your lymphatic vessels are also fragile. So if you bruise easily, take a long time to heal, if things, stay irritated for a long time, if you get that bruising underneath the skin where you get the blood leaking, all of that is a sign of vascular fragility, blood vessels, and lymphatic vessel fragility. That's not okay. If you have a muscle that's not strong enough to lift up your cup of tea in the morning, you don't say, well, I'm just going to stop drinking tea. No, you go, oh, right, I'm going to have to rebuild this muscle. I'm going to have to get strong again. Something is wrong. But in our culture and, the lack of awareness that we've had, like in Chinese medicine, you'll see old people in the park and they're hitting themselves and they're rotating. Well, guess what? These people, Qigong and Tai Chi and all those things, full-body lymphatic workout. Amazing. Yes, please. Okay. So what are we doing? We're getting cozy in our woodies and snuggling on our couches, and we're hiding from the sun. We need the sun. We need the vitamin D. It's a hormone. Your brain will not produce it. Why are we all vitamin D deficient? We don't go out in the sun. And look, super white woman, I'm not saying go out in peak UV and roast yourself. I'm saying if you're not getting regular sun exposure, if you're not letting the sunlight touch your eyes, stimulate the glands in your brain that tell the rest of your hormones what to do. Yes, that's all lymphatics, glands, hormones. If you are not triggering your skin's response to, oh, hang on, I've got to protect myself. I've got to produce the right oils. I've got to, we have melanin for a reason. We have melatonin for a reason. There's a reason those words are connected. It is a whole family of hormone functions, dominoes that occur when we get correct exposure to our environment, guys, right? To our environment. Okay, so we start with our spiky side, and this is deliberately for stimulation. We get so common, the most common kind of thing that I personally respond to in our BooB CamP group on Facebook, 42,000 people in there, beautiful women in there, is I kind of go off on the topics of cellulite and I go off on the topics of skin fragility. People saying, oh, the gloves are too rough. There's something wrong with them. I threw them away. I'm like, oh, save me. You have fragile skin. And The gloves are not the problem. We need to rebuild your skin, and remodeling skin and stimulating the stem cells to actually toughen up and get stronger. We don't want to turn our back on that. That's a sign. That's a really serious sign. If that's happening at this level of tissue, what's happening in here? What's happening in your large intestine? What's happening in your heart vessels? What's happening in your brain function? Like, we're worried about you. We are worried. When people tell us their skin is fragile, I am stressed. So you'll see me in the group getting up in everyone's grill about their skin. Hey, Helen, thanks for joining us. Okay, so we start with our spiky sides. We are stimulating so many things. We're stimulating lymph, so some people can handle the tapping. If your skin is not strong enough yet to handle the spiky side, right, in terms of like being nice and firm and pressing, just start with a really gentle press. You know, meet yourself where you are. Like I said, if you've gotten too weak to lift a cup of tea up to drink, then of course we start with, you know, a ball, a pen. You know, you start where you are. Meet your body where it's at. Hi, Sharon. Hello. Hi. We've got Teza, Renee. Hello, hello. All you gorgeous people. Hi. Okay. So we start gently. Now, the reason why we always start at the chest and why we always go start at the boobs, and some of you will notice I don't have boobs. I had a preventative double mastectomy. It was great for me. Good life choice for me. Not for everyone, but it was great for me. So I am quite flat, and you'll see me doing more around the chest. But if you have boobs, you want to be moving them. You know, why do we so desperately need to get our bra off at the end of the day? Why? Because this is one of the areas of our body with the most lymphatic fluid. And guess what we're doing? We're strapping it in, restricting the movement, and then we're putting a dose of toxins on our armpits, right, with antiperspirant, okay? Not a great start to the day. So we, first of all, need to understand that all that lymph, like I said, every bit of your body is drawing up and collecting your lymphatic fluid back up into these big ducts. And those ducts, like quack, quack, no, ducts, D-U-C-T-S, they blend back that returned fluid, that filtered fluid, and they put it back into these big vessels that join straight into your heart. So that fluid that was once out there in the blood went and scooped up all the waste in your body like the fish tank filter, moved hormones around, moved fat around, took care of all the invaders, made sure it was monitoring all your immune functions. It all came back, and then it mixed back in with your blood, and then went on the journey again, got pumped around again. Okay, so we are, oh, here we got some stuff about alternatives to deodorant. Yes, we actually recommend that you just use a deodorant, not an antiperspirant. Try not to stop yourself sweating. Sweat is one of your key detoxification functions. And what has Harwell done? Demonized it and said it's wrong. No, we need to be detoxing. Every day we're retoxing. So every day we need to be detoxing. All right. So you want to be drinking filtered water. You want to be making sure you're not putting heavy metals into, this is one of your most vascular, vulnerable, open, porous parts of your body, your armpit, your axilla. Oh my God, so many lymph nodes right next to breast tissue. Same for men. Men have breast tissue too. Some men can lactate. Left over from their development in the womb, lucky them. But you know, it's like a superhighway straight to your rest of your body, right? You're putting heavy metals straight in. We need to sweat. If you talk to anybody about what's going on in their life, you'll be like, oh, when was the last time you sweated? And they'll be like, what? We don't sweat enough. We've got to get sweaty. We've got to get messy. But we use this is one of our products. This is the Magfatics blend. It's all naturopathically formulated. Chelsea's a kick-ass naturopath. This is magnesium and MSM. It's peppermint. It's eucalyptus. It's basically aloe vera water. So it's incredibly hydrating. People call magnesium an oil, but really it's a water-based solution with a bit of kind of texture to it that makes it feel oily, but there is no grease. Okay, so Magfatics, because of the awesome essential oils in their very pure blend, you are killing the scent, right? The big issue that we have with sweat, for some people, they have those disorders where they're wet all the time. I get it. You don't want to be soaking through your clothes all the time. But the biggest issue that we all have is the bacteria that interacts with that sweat, and that's what causes a smell. Yes, Susan. So we've got a live in Facebook in our group, and we've got a live in Instagram. She's just let us know. Someone said, I've been sweating like crazy since I started using the gloves. Yes. Oh, I'm so happy. This is Brooke in the Facebook group. She's saying, is getting sick, cold, chesty cough, normal too. Yeah, this is all the detoxification symptoms. Imagine the fish tank. If you've left the fish tank for a long time, it's gotten incredibly dirty. The acid balance is off. The chemical balance is off. The filter is clogged. It's not like just it miraculously cleans itself. No, that stuff has to get mobilized. So think about it like shaking a snow globe. Okay, like, you know, in the old fashioned days, how did they clean a carpet? They went and beat it first. You got to shake up all the right, and then you can clean it and remove it and mobilize it. So yeah, a lot of people get detox symptoms, like they get changes in body odor. Some people actually start sweating for the first time in ages. When I do my sequence, I get this like a sour smell to my sweat that isn't normally there, and I'm like, oh, hello, that's my stuff coming out. Some people notice changes in their vaginal pH, which is great. pH changes are another sign of, oh, I'm really moving stuff around, things are happening. You're going to be getting reactions. If your reactions are detox, and this is all part of that what to expect, someone had said at the beginning of the thread, what do I expect? I'm in my first week. Well, a bunch of people have really positive reactions. Oh my God, I've got more energy and I can just feel lighter, and I pooped out all of this stuff that's just been, you know, clearly stuck inside me for a long time. Not okay. Wonderful. Some people get an instant feeling of like lightness, the fluidness, the heaviness in their legs, the things that relate to, you know, direct lymphatic congestion that was probably at the stage where it was going to be a lymphatic disorder, like a lymphedema where lipedema, where you've got that heaviness and pain and swelling in your legs. But a bunch of people, it's subsensory. I love that word. Subsensory. That's your word for the day. Anyone who puts it in the chat gets a shout out from me. Subsensory. And subsensory means you don't notice anything. And for you, fabulous. Yes, and a change in your smell in your urine absolutely is a sign of detox. Any change in like smelliness, so urine is a waste product. Any change in it, something's happening. You should have floaty, misty, dusty looking things in your urine. If you have like perfectly clear urine, you're pumping water through those kidneys and actually your waste isn't coming out, okay? All those salts and chemicals and things that are meant to come out in urine are naturally, you know, should be suspended, okay? So subsensory, yes, Lychee, you are the winner. Woo! Okay, thank you very much. Lychee gets the shout out, Lychee72, thank you. So subsensory means you just don't really notice anything. And there's a good chunk of people who are like, oh, is it not working? The answer is it's always working. Any work that you do to improve your lymphatic function, it's like when you don't get results overnight from the gym. If someone told you, oh, well, I went to the gym for like 2 weeks, but, you know, I didn't really notice a huge amount, you would laugh your ass off. You'd be like, hang on. That whole thing is like a cumulative thing. You have to live with this body for a very long time. Yeah. And for lymphatic health and all the critical functions that it's performed that we know about, because there's so much more we don't know about, our science is just taking it seriously. Subsensory, if you're not feeling some dramatic instant result, if you got the gloves just to lose weight, when you've got some sort of metabolic dysregulation, which, you know, over 30% of people do, well, your body is going to prioritize cellular repair, metabolic repair. It's going to prioritize that over you shedding some weight straight away. And that's really the philosophy here, is we are all focused on taking our power back, going, right, the water supply, the air supply, the food system, the pharmaceutical systems, none of this is really okay. And it's my job, not anyone else's job, and we're not blaming anyone, and it's not why didn't we learn this in school and all of that stuff. No, your body, your life, you got to take charge. Okay, someone said, I've been using the gloves for months and I still get lots of pain when I'm using the ball side. Oh, okay, great. So I'll keep going and we'll move through the sequence. And then we've got Lucinda saying, bought gloves but haven't started yet due to being scared of making my chronic pain worse. I need to start to feel better though. Oh yeah, it's going to be the thing of start really gentle. So for some people, that is that they do just the spikes, and they do it over clothes to start with, okay? And they get in there and they just really gently are moving all of the nodes in the chest around, and the clavicles, your big magic zone clavicles, that collarbone, right? Heaps of people in our group are like, oh my God, I've been using the gloves and I got my collarbones back, because, you know, their neck had just kind of joined into their chest because the fluid had just become normal. And these things creep and become progressive, and it's silent. Your lymph stuff is all very silent, all very gentle. And we only know about problems with our lymphatic system once it's too late, right? Once, oh no, it's autoimmune. Oh no, it's lipedema, stage 2. Oh no, you've got chronic edema and swelling. Oh no, you've got type 2 diabetes, a metabolic disorder. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, well, we couldn't tell you about it, and there's no test for it, and, you know, there's no, like, pill. But guess what? There's your body, and there's ancient wisdom from all these ancient cultures that have managed to retain their wellness systems, and there's the Chelsey Gene community. So we are going to get you sorted. So we do all of this work around our chest. We do it on bare skin with the spikes, lots of reasons, not just the conventional lymphatic brushing. Remember, we're always brushing towards the heart, segment by segment, okay? This, when you do it on bare skin, you are not just getting lymphatic brushing, you are getting full nerve stimulation. You're stimulating collagen, you're stimulating the stem cells down in the deeper layers of tissues, not just the stem cells that are in your skin, but are also in your blood vessels, your lymphatic vessels. You're teaching your body that it can get relief, right? Because when a system is under pressure, it's our job to support it. And once you start doing it, some people get like pins and needles, some people get like a little sweat, some people get a rush of energy. A bunch of people feel the sensation like their throat is clearing. Yeah, that's the big lymphatic drainage. So the brain and the face, the lymphatic system name there is the lymphatic system. And a lot of people, you know, they do the work of, they open up their chest, they start at the heart, what Chelsey calls pop the cork, which is like unblock the toilet, basically. If you have a blocked toilet and then you dump a bunch of more stuff in it, guess what? Is that toilet working? Is that drain clearing? No, it's just shit on top of shit on top of shit. Okay, we've got some people been using gloves for months, still get lots of pain. Yes, we're going to go through that with the ball side. And Gilgai, New South Wales. Hi, Lucinda. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so we start with all of this area. Some people are saying they can't see my head on Facebook. Here we go. We start with our chest. And then we move to upper limbs, arms, right? For us, a bunch of us as well, we're comfortable with pressing our neck around our jaw. Okay, so imagine it's all just gently going to the chest. Then we do our arms, okay, twisting around. Remember all those joints. So we do elbow to shoulder, and then we do wrist to shoulder. That's one arm done. Hello. And arm number 2. This is a 2-minute a day protocol. Okay, spiky side on bare skin. If you can't tolerate the spiky side on bare skin, we start with spiky side on your fabric skin. Okay, remember now I just did my elbow to my shoulder. So now I'm doing wrist down to my shoulder. Here we go. Beautiful. Upper body done. Awesome. Okay, now we work onto the abdomen. Okay, can you see my abdomen here on Facebook, everybody? All right, she's had lymph nodes removed for her neck. Do I just leave that part out? No, because that area now needs additional support. So you always start gently. Okay, so now I'm trying to stimulate. So you can see the design of the gloves. These are you'll see lots of different copycats of these gloves, right? And that's cool. But we are the only ones that are like BPA, PFA, PAH, and phthalate free. I love that I know how to say all those nasty chemical words. Be very careful about what you're putting on your body, okay? We're not asking you to eat them. Yes, they're made of PVC, but we are not asking you to eat them. We're not asking you to heat them. We're just asking you to use them on your body for 2 minutes a day, okay? So we've done the chest, we've popped the cork, we've emptied, we've unblocked the toilet, now everything can drain. So I've just done everything to do with my arms. All right, we've opened up our chest and I've done my arms. Now I'm going to use those lovely ridges and edges on the sides of the gloves to stimulate all those tummy nodes. You're doing your deep breathing here because I'm chatting. I'm not doing that, but it should be chronic atopic dermatitis, absolutely please. And she might get a histamine response. So you want to just start gently. So she should be, you know, not, can you hear like I'm scraping? No, she should be like gently pressing. A lot of people with atopic dermatitis, the heat is actually a trigger, and it's what trigger. It's called cholinergic reaction, which means heat equals histamine. And of course we want her to be going on like a histamine protocol, right? Why? She got a chronic inflammatory autoimmune condition. It's gut health. Have a look at our good gut protocol in our Facebook page. So we're doing all those nodes. And of course, guess what as well? This is where your poop is, because our intestine goes from the right side up, across and down. That's where all the poop is, the large intestine. So after we've opened up the tummy, and I love to do a bit of stimulation. I'm someone who likes stimulation, with my booty, all of that. Then we go from that right side up, we trace our large intestine. And this is why so many people have such an amazing punami after they start their gloves, because the average human has got kilograms worth of stagnant feces. You know how dogs, they eat and then half an hour later they poop? We're meant to as well. Our peristaltic system is damaged from too much sitting down, too much artificial light, you name it. We're doing all the bad things, humans, these days. So we do a whole bunch. And if you're someone who's got a sensitive tummy, you can feel that you're blocked up. You can feel things are hard and firm. You get funky activity on the top. You can spend heaps of time here, starting on the bottom right, up, across and down. Okay, it's a big upside down U. And then we are going from the back as far as you can, pulling it all to the front. And I'm doing a long chatty demo. Your sequence is 2 minutes, okay? And it goes from that chest, arms, just done our tummy. We've done all the stimulation on the tummy. We've done the digestion. We've done bringing the fluid from the back. You can do your booty, okay? And then we look at our groin. So our groin again is another major joint, which means heaps of lymph nodes. It's another big checkpoint for our immune system. All that spongy lymph node tissue is there. And the beautiful thing with a sponge, you squeeze it, stuff goes out, it relaxes, and the fresh fluid comes back in. I'm just doing the demo with clothes, Lucy. With the spiky side, we do the spikes on bare skin. Okay, usually people do it before the shower because they get a bit of a sweat reaction. Okay, yes, vapes and alcohol, absolutely, Lucinda, for the toxins. And will the video be always available? Yes, you can capture it in the group replay. All right, so once you've worked on your hips, so that means like move your hips around, yes. Using those ridge sides of your gloves again, get in there, don't be afraid. Of course, this isn't for people, like I said, who, you know, the get in there advice. It's not for people who, yeah, if you've got problems with those lymph nodes, if you've got bruising, if you're super tender, you have to meet your body where you're at. No matter what, you are an individual and you need to match your level of pressure and your level of activity to the area. The old school stuff about manual lymphatic drainage only being like feather touch and super light, that is for damaged tissue. Just let that sink in. That is for damaged tissue. When I trained as a body worker years ago, we were told to stay away from these joint areas and the boobs where all these huge lymphatic nodes are for insurance issues. They're like, oh no, it's too scary. And it's because there was not enough knowledge about lymphatic education. We were just frightened into staying away from these areas. And it turns out they're areas that need huge support and huge relief. So once you're done with your hips, okay, if you've got pain in your knees, swelling in your knees, it's a really good sign that your groin nodes are not draining. So people who are getting that, we strongly recommend just work a little bit more on your groin. You can lay down. If you find it hard to relax your hip flexors, you can lay down flat on the ground and work this area as well, pressing, rolling, you name it, with your spiky sides for that stimulation, that opening, that, oh, here we go, that pressing of the spongy lymphatic tissue. Okay, once you've done your groin, you then work on your legs. Like I said, only work to the pressure that you can tolerate. And you should always be just doing that little bit of, oh, okay, can I go that little bit further? Can my skin tolerate it? Great, good, my skin's getting more resilient. I'm remodeling that tissue, building stem cells, getting that skin integrity back. So we go just like we did with the arms, elbows to shoulder, then wrist to shoulder. We do knee to groin, and then we do ankle to groin. So this is me in my bathroom before I get in the shower, in my birthday suit, with my foot up on the side of the bath or my foot on the toilet. Very glamorous, okay? And always a bit of extra attention. I do inner thighs, okay? Because I've had a surgery on my pelvis. I had a cesarean and some emergency cesarean. So wherever you've got scar tissue, where you've got an injury, remember, one of the jobs of that lymphatic system is to repair damage, right? Healing. So wherever you've got a scar, an injury, damage, where you've had an inflammatory response, your lymphatic fluid has gone in and it's laid down a bunch of healing plasma. It's called upon the stem cells. It's called on all of the incredible connective tissue and repair tissue, and it's put down extra strong fibers. Now, if it's put down extra strong fibers and we have this squishy tissue, that extra strong fibers is going to tighten and press the tissue. Does that go for a knee replacement? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's scar tissue, surgical. Yeah, so wherever there's been blood vessels that have been cut, wherever there's been trauma to the tissue, you know, bang, compression, nerve damage, chronic inflammation, burns, like lymphatic system and burns. Most people who've had second, third and fourth degree burns, they're the highest incidence of cancer of anyone in the world. Do you have nerve entrapment? Oh no, I'm going to talk all about nerve entrapment with fascia. Okay, that's the other part of our chalk tonight. It's all about fascia. Would love to know if I can modify the process after I have breast reduction surgery next week. Yes, yes, yes. You want to be gently, because the beautiful thing is we think our breasts are like up here. They're not. Our breasts are actually here. And all of these nodes, particularly those clavicular ones, where things are just about to join into the heart. It's a great question, Kim, and I've had a double prophylactic mastectomy, so I'm all about the wisdom and the preparation for the chest surgeries. You want to be doing all your shoulder mobilizations. They will give you very specific instructions for any breast surgery, lumpectomy, mastectomy, unilateral, bilateral, preventative, reconstruction, breast implants, breast explants. They give you so many exercises about shoulder mobility and stuff, and it's what enables you to avoid the risk of lymphedema. So lymphedema, people who've had breast surgery, lymphedema is the big risk and concern we have, whether they touch your nodes or not. Of course, if they touch your nodes and remove your nodes, there's more risk. So we want to be going through the process of working all around it. So anywhere where you've got like a fresh wound, a fresh injury, a fresh surgery, you want to just work around that area, okay? Don't add extra pressure, extra fluid, extra action, extra like heat to the zone, because wherever there's excess fluid, your body's having to do the work of then squeezing it all out, remember? And this is a passive system, so our muscles do the squeezing, our lymphatic drainage work does the squeezing, inversion, rotation, movement. If you imagine every time you rotate in your body, like yoga, they call it the cleansing twist in yoga. Why do they call it the cleansing twist? Guess what? Because you are twisting out the dirty sponge. If you think about all your soft tissues like they're a dirty sponge, what's the best way to get a dirty sponge out? Wring it all out, get it clear. Now, some people say, oh, yep, adenoids and tonsils out. Yeah, so people who've had their tonsils and adenoids removed, what's amazing on a CT scan, which is something that happened to me, is your other lymph nodes that are around it. They just adapt, they just enlarge. They're like, oh, Joe down the street, oh yeah, he got taken out by the mob. So us, we beefed up our operation. Everything just adapts. It is phenomenal. Just like your skin integrity improves, just like collagen comes back, your body has like got endless capacity to regenerate. It is phenomenal. Okay. So Kim, oh great, good. You got your answer, honey. Lovely. And you can do it lying down, all of that stuff. You can be doing that work. Like if you can't for some reason get your gloves, like, oh, they're in my bag and no one gave it to me. Great, just be gently doing that work. Like if I'm absolutely stuck and I don't have my gloves, hands are not the same. They aren't like the nerve stimulation that you get from the spikes. Our skin doesn't do that, okay? And also our brain knows that our fingertips are coming. because the same brain that told those fingers to move there is anticipating the movement. So that type of stimulation is just a completely different nerve stim, okay, which is then stem cells, you know, adaptability, resilience, all of that. Thyroid removal. Okay, well, thyroid's different because it's a gland, not a node. It is a part of the lymphatic system. Dusty, thank you for that great question. But thyroid is the main producer of particular hormones, or synthesizer of particular hormones. And we have an incredible thyroid expert in the BooB CamP group. You can type thyroid into the BooB CamP search bar and there's a masterclass from her. And I'm going to let you go to her because she's way better than me at all the magic. Now let's continue with the next bit about the sequence, because this is where I get to talk about my obsession. My obsession is fascia. Fascia, fascia, fascia. Who's heard of fascia? Fasciitis, plantar fasciitis. It's one of the musculoskeletal syndrome, MSS, musculoskeletal syndrome items on the list of perimenopause symptoms. Okay. It is inflamed fascia. So any kind of itis, fasciitis, tonsillitis, doesn't matter whether it was caused by a bacteria, a virus, an inflammatory response, a protective response, you have inflammation. Where you have inflammation, you have lymph, my friends, okay? Someone's saying, do you use any oil or fluid on the skin before you use the mitt, or is it direct on skin? Okay, great question, Peffer. Spiky sides, bare skin. If your bare skin can't tolerate it for all the reasons we've discussed earlier, you do spiky side over clothing until you can get to the point where you are gently using spiky side, because we want not just the stimulation and the pressure on the spongy nature of our tissue and the spongy nature of lymph vessels, lymph nodes. We also want the nerve stim, okay, because it's incredibly healthy and mobilizing. But let's get to what are these, why these dual action? Because we're doing lymphatic drainage and stimulation, way better texture than an old school brush. I don't have any problems with brushes. If that's all you got, use the brush. If you can get to the spikes of the Chelsey gene dual action lymphatic gloves, way better, okay? Because you can only get so far and into your lymphatic tissue. And you know, you've got deep lymphatic structures. It's not like the lymph is just there. No, if you know your lymphatic anatomy, it's deep, deep down, right? When you're squeezing out a sponge, you don't just squeeze, oh, I'll just do a little squeeze. No, if you want that tissue cleansed, you are twisting as deep and as fast as you can. So you are getting to the point where you can tolerate the pressure, because we get that deeper lymphatic stimulation, right? Like no one ever says when you go and get a deep tissue massage, oh, you're going to go hurt your lymphatic structures. No, all that light touch stuff is based on damaged tissue. Majority of us do not have chronically damaged tissue. People with lymphedema, lipedema, you need to adapt. 1 in 9 women in Australia has lipedema. Okay, we've got lipedema experts in our group. We've got our preferred practitioners. Chelsey's trained hundreds of practitioners. If you're someone who's interested in learning about how to incorporate lymphatic techniques, lymphatic health into your practice as a practitioner, whether you're a doctor, podiatrist, physiotherapist, nurse, breast care nurse, oncology nurse, or you are an allied health practitioner, the physio, the podiatrist, the OT, support worker, and maybe you're a complementary health therapist, you're a massage therapist, kinesiologist, naturopath, come and do Chelsey's Lymphatics Alive workshop. It's available around the world, and you get trained in how to incorporate lymphatics into your practice so you can reach more patients and you can actually deal with like root cause systemic issues, right? It's phenomenal. So let's pretend that this is my shower routine. I've gotten stripped off. I've done the spiky sides. I've done the sequence. I've popped the cork. I've opened my chest area, unclogged the toilet so that everything can now get flushed. I've done my arms, neck, arms. I've done my abdomen. I've done my back. I've done my groin. I've done my thighs. I've done my legs up to my groin again, and I'm done. Yay. I get in the shower. I do my thing. Then after the shower, there was this question about cream, bare skin, etc. So we mentioned our MAG and MSN Magfatics spray. Most people are absolutely thirsty and desperate. Thanks so much, Mads. They've put the Mads has put the Lymphatic Alive direct link for you there. So I am someone who, and this is like build your own routine. Okay, so we have the Lymphatic body cream. Okay, and this is safe for body and face. I use it on body and face, and again, naturopathically formulated. We make this in Australia, in the massive warehouse behind our office. This is made with love, made by us, formulated by Chelsey and our formulator team. And this is full of things that increase your skin integrity, build up the strength of your skin, plump up your skin. We've got basically, it's an aloe base, it's arnica, which is incredibly anti-inflammatory, MCT oil, nourishing, natural botanicals that are lymphatic botanicals. So that's essential oils and herbal extracts, all for increasing cellular detoxification, blood vessel return, lymphatic vessel return, getting everything back to being toned and tightened and nourished and hydrated. So I personally, I use my Magfatics and I spray my armpits. I usually spray a chunk on my lower back because it's a very absorbent area, and then any areas where I've got any tension. So if I've been, if I've got DOMs in my arms, I'll be just doing extra spray on my arms. I had an achy finger the other day because I did a whole bunch of stuff in my garden. Like one of my fingers was sore, so I got extra Magfatics on that. MSM, your grandma knows what MSM is. It is one of the oldest, most reputable supplements that you can take internally or apply it externally for inflammatory pain. So it's like an old school powerhouse for arthritis. And this mag spray does not sting. Okay, everyone's got a magnesium spray, they all sting, but ours is basically aloe water. So it hydrates you, it nourishes you, it calms your skin. Arnica is anti-inflammatory. And like I said, it's a powerhouse of all the things to soothe you and be anti-inflammatory, the magnesium, but also a great way to avoid using antiperspirant on your armpits. A lymphatic cream, so I spray myself with mag wherever I need it, and then I put my lymphatic cream on my skin. And that's because it's time to do the sequence again. And this time we're doing the second round. So I've got wet skin from the shower, I'm putting on my cream. Some people dry their skin. Some people just use the cream. Some people just use the mag spray. Some people use their own moisturizer. Most of our people use the combination of both because that's optimal results. And what we're doing there is we are using our magnetic balls, and these balls roll, okay? They also pop out, right? They're made from a type of hematite. They're made from a crystal, okay? And the density of them is amazing. And we want something firm because we're not just working now on that spongy tissue, okay? We're working on the fibrous tissue. This is my little baggy example. We're working on the fibrous tissue that encases everything, okay? Now, this isn't an accurate representation of fascia because fascia does encase muscles like a sausage skin. Hey, Brisbane Lash Lab. Hi, Brizzy people. We're based in Brizzy. Nice to see you. So fascia doesn't just coat a muscle. It does coat a muscle, but it doesn't just coat the muscle. So you'll have a sheath of fascia, and fascia's a flexible connective tissue, and it is phenomenal because it's conducts electricity, which is amazing, just like quartz crystal does. It's piezoelectric. It responds to pressure in your body. It's how when you jump and you bounce and you get the shock waves through your body and your body's able to absorb all that information. That's because of the electrical signals that are going through your fascia. Like I said, this is my obsession topic. The fascia is encasing every structure, and I mean every structure: brain, nerve ending, blood vessel, lymph vessel, muscle, bone. The fascia and your lymph together are the glue that binds you together. When someone dies, and this is why we used to not know about lymphatics, and this is why we used to not know about meridians, because when someone dies and all the fluid goes out of them and nothing's alive, they couldn't see how everything was flowing. Blood vessels, it was really obvious, but then there's all this other interstitial fluid and interstitium. And interstitium is all the fluid that's moving around in our body, including lymph, and it moves via the lymphatic network and it moves via the fascia. And like I said, this fascia, this fibrous connective tissue, okay, it's flexible, okay, it's responsive, it's strong under tension, it sends electrical signals, it's phenomenal. And it not only encases everything like a sausage, you know, like compartment syndrome, if any of you have ever had shin splints, that's your fascia, it's your muscles in your shins working too hard, getting too full of blood and not being drained properly. And it's the casing, the fascia around your compartment is resisting the muscle getting bigger and responding. So this connective tissue, this fascia, covers everything, but then it also is through everything. So when you chop up a chicken breast or you look at a cut of meat and you see all those white lines, who knows what I'm talking about, those white lines, and sometimes it's sinewy and stringy, and we actually call it sinew. Who knows what I'm talking about? Let me know, give me a little high five or some reactions or some comments. But that sinew, that fibrous tissue, is your fascia, your connective tissue. And when they used to do autopsies on bodies, it would just look really static and like it wasn't doing anything. And then we started to develop these technologies where we can watch the body in action. And suddenly it all came to life. Your lymphatic function, your fascial function, all interconnected together. So Lisa knows what I'm talking about. Thanks, Lisa. Awesome. Sharon too. Thank you so much. Hey, Julie. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So the reason I'm so obsessed with fascia is, well, I was a body worker for years and I got really interested in why some people rehabilitated and went on to bigger and better things. And some people had the same injury and it was like the beginning of the end or the downward spiral. Oh, so glad you're enjoying this, Dusty. Thank you. I am really like into all of the things. So yeah, if you don't like this vibe, maybe skip this live, but that's me. Thank you for your positive feedback. That's great. And so, yeah, I was obsessed with bodies, and some bodies you could treat them and like, it's like magic, right? You can touch people and their body melts under your hand and you can take their pain away. And my specialization was cervicogenic headaches, which means headaches caused by dysfunction in the neck. So I had lots of neck injuries and stuff. It was a real privilege to be able to be the person that people trusted to take away their pain. And Chelsey and I have that really strong affinity. We both like started a practice when we were 19 and we were both body workers for years. I got my first table when I was 15. That was what I wanted for my 15th birthday, was I wanted a massage table. So that tells you probably a whole bunch of stuff about me and my mind. But I was so interested in, oh good, you talk fascia with your horses all the time. Yeah, horsey people know about fascia. Because why? Because so much money's in racehorsing. They want those animals to perform. It would kind of be like with humans, we don't want these animals to perform. Question. Anyway, thanks, Dusty. Yes, so with your fascia and connective tissue, like I said, I got obsessed with why some people healed and got better and were so energized, and other people were just like, meh, they would sort of stay the same, or they would actually just get worse, you know, degenerate, right? Not get better, degenerates. Thanks, Georgina. Saw your feedback. Thank you, love. So, and myself, I had a spinal injury as a teenager. I had permanent nerve damage, or what was permanent at the time, in my left side of my neck. 2 of my discs, ruptured all the discs, dislocated my full neck, trampolining accident, landed on my head. Not pretty, right? And permanent nerve damage in this arm, loss of power, loss of function. Couldn't like hold a cup in that hand because the nerve function was all messed up. And I had learned to live with that condition, and I was fortunate. I had really good care around me. I had, you know, physio and chiro and all these things, but I was 14. I was still growing. And so at some point it seems that my care team forgot that I was still a growing body and I still had, you know, developmental things happening, and I grew all wrong. So I looked normal, but any body worker, if I took my clothes off, would look at my spine and go, what happened to you? Because the section between your shoulder blades, this thoracic section here, the upper body, that's meant to be curved out slightly, right? You know, like you see super old people, it's all the way over. I've got a dysfunction there, that's spondylosis, but you're meant to have a gentle curve, right? And I had a flat thoracic spine, and my neck, I've still got the scans, I can share them one day in the group. Your neck is meant to be this lovely, what's called a C curve, the cervical spine, the C curve of the spine. And if it's meant to curve this way, mine was the other way. So I had a C curve going the wrong way. So all this tissue tension and scar tissue and damage and lockdown, restriction that our body does to protect us from pain and trauma. And as far as my spine was concerned, that was really bad. We're not doing that again. And I'm not going to leave you flexible and vulnerable to that kind of damage. Again, you're like anyone who's lived with nerve pain knows that it's very, very easy to become mentally unwell very quickly, because when you injure yourself and it's like a muscular thing, or you bang your toe, or you break an arm, or you are in labor or something, there's a part of you that knows that that pain is going to end. And when you have complex nerve pain, you don't know when it's going to end, and that really can mess you up. So growing up with that, growing up managing pain, nerve dysfunction, all of that stuff, I got really, and already had this strong interest in bodies and, all that stuff with bodywork and sporty family. So it was really natural for me to go into that sports medicine world, and had a great physio mentor in my youth, worked in the AFL in Sydney, had lots of incredible experiences, worked in the first multidisciplinary clinics in Australia. That was amazing, in Sydney. And didn't know how lucky I was at the time, though. I was just like bumbling along, following my nose. And, I thought I was doing really well. I had regular body work to relieve pain and tension and stop things getting too bad. If I did regular corrective Pilates, it was amazing. And through corrective exercise and manipulation and all of that, I got a normal neck curve back. It was miraculous, right? Miraculous. But I still had nerve pain. And if I missed a couple of weeks of Pilates, didn't my nerve pain tell me about it? I knew about it. So I was pissed off because I was dependent. I was dependent on doing, if I didn't do this certain exercise, a certain amount, with a certain amount of stretching, if I didn't sleep in exactly a certain way, I was screwed. And I would get that thing where you completely seize up. The pain would be ridiculous, and you'd have a week where you were just completely knocked out. Of course, there's all the psychosomatic things that go along with that as well. Absolutely. And that was part of my journey. But I knew that something, it's a miracle I'm alive, Julie. Thank you. Yeah, I fell on my head. There's lots of things in my life where I'm like, should I be alive still? Absolutely. And could ducts be blocked if no change has happened? Absolutely, Shell. And we also want you to consider toxic load. If it's chunks of metabolically not active fat, like on thighs, butt, and upper arms, it can be lipedema, which is, that inflammatory condition. And yes, let's talk about the ball side of the gloves and fascia pain. So someone in the comments is great. They're giving me back on track. If you have a nerve entrapment, yes, absolutely. The entrapment's in your abdomen. We need to talk about that. That's a bit more specific than just sort of a standard limb area, but I will get to that, Sarah. Thank you. And someone says, I've no C curves, dead straight and small scoliosis, thanks to a fall on my horse at 15, now 56, and it's just started to become very symptomatic. Okay, I'm so glad you found us, Anna. I hope my story can give you hope, because I was pissed off. Like I said, I was pissed off that I was dependent, and I was like one of the most educated people in the world around necks and how to deal with necks, right? And helped all these people with their necks. And I was still kind of just going, but there's a certain point where it's just like, it's just what it is. It is what it is. You can't get, you get to a certain level, and that's just that. And that really rubs me the wrong way. Like, I am someone who's like, no, I'm going to find the answers, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to give it every opportunity. And someone's just saying, I can feel you. I've just been through lower back pain and nerve pain. Yes, it is psychologically so terrifying, Jazz G. Okay. So I got obsessed with fascia because I was like, this isn't muscular anymore. I was like, yes, I had nerve damage, but that was so long ago. I have done all the rehab. I've got all the right, strength. I know how to activate. I know how to do this. I've got good circulation. I've got good mobility. I've got good control, good coordination. I have worked really hard for that in very full-on prescribed corrective exercise programs, right? So not like your studio Pilates where you're all doing the same things, like absolutely. Pilates physio, say hi. I'm just talking about the magic of Pilates, where you're working with a practitioner who's very experienced and you're doing a prescribed program for you. So I knew I could do all that stuff. Why did I still have all this pain? And I was like, it has to be fascia. It has to be connective tissue. Like it has to, like it was I would be up at night thinking, it has to be connective tissue. So I started contacting myofascial therapists, bone therapists. That's their world, connective tissue. You know, this magical stuff, the fascia that's actually kind of keeping this whole meat sack together, right? Skin's actually not strong enough to keep it all in, to keep the insides out and the outsides in, or whatever that saying is. It's your connective tissue that's doing all the work. And like connective tissue, if you think about it, this is my prop for tonight for connective tissue, right? It's rigid, but it's flexible, strong, okay? And it's got lots of holes in it, right? So things are constantly coming in and out of it. Guess what's constantly coming in and out of it? Blood and lymph, okay? And the smaller and smaller and smaller you go down into the deeper layers of the tissue, blood can't get there, but lymph is there. Lymph is collecting the waste. So if you've got scarring, if you've had injury, illness, if you're acidic, and acidity doesn't just happen through diet and medication and toxic exposure and drinking the wrong pH water, it doesn't just happen from that. How do hospitals measure pH in your blood? They don't get like a little pH, strip test. No, they have a gas meter that measures the hertz of your blood. They measure the electrical conductivity in your blood to determine your pH. pH and electrical charge have a exact pairing. So we are in an environment where we deal with a lot of electrical pollution, EMF in our homes, and someone said if I knock my skin, it causes huge amounts of pain. Oh, yes. So we deal with a lot of electromagnetic activity in our modern world. And yeah, kids, if you talk to people who work in hospitals for kids that do the surgery for children with brain tumors, guess what happened? We had a massive spike in kids having brain tumors when kids started to get phones in their bedrooms, started to sleep near their mobile phones. We have electromagnetic radiation happening everywhere. Call me a conspiracy theorist. Science is science, people. If you continually bombard this environment with the wrong electronic frequencies, you change your pH. So all these factors, acidity, dehydration, meaning not the correct electrolyte balance because of our nutrients, if you're magnesium deficient, guess what? You're not hydrated. It doesn't matter how much water you drink. You ain't hydrated. Your tissues are not getting the nutrients. It's just not happening. Our soils are depleted, and we now kind of have to supplement around what used to come in our soils. The cellular health should be your concern. And to me, fascia and lymph are just like the perfect way for you to deal with the whole of your body's cellular health all at once in 2 minutes. So this connective tissue, like I said, I got obsessed. Oh, there's a lady called Being Emily. I'm an Emily. Hello. The connective tissue, I got obsessed. I was like, this nerve pain, because fascia encapsulates every nerve. I was like, it has to be my fascia. And I got obsessed with fascia release techniques, mobilizing my fascia. And it's been 10 years now, and I don't have chronic nerve pain anymore. And I had it for 20 years. I can't tell you how thrilling that is, how life-changing that is, what a relief that is. I just got the full-on body goosebumps and pins and needles. It is a revelation. You don't realize how much of a burden pain is as a source of stress on your body, how much it robs you of your joy, your energy, your vitality, your quality of your decision-making, your mojo, like your ability to manifest and get stuff done. And I cannot recommend enough that you don't just do the spiky side stimulation of your skin for your lymphatic flow. Yes, do the 2 minutes before you get in the shower. Perfect. Okay. Then you're getting out of the shower and you're putting on whatever creams. That's our lymphatic cream, specifically designed for lymphatic and cellular health and detoxification. Mag and MSM, magnesium, MSN, pain relief, inflammation, you name it. Use it as your deodorant, right? But you pop your gloves back on the other way. This is the dual action, the two actions. We are doing lymphatic stimulation and drainage with the spikes, and then we are doing deeper lymph and fascia with the balls. Okay, the fascia needs something firm. Okay, you know, the gauchois and all of that, firm. Yes, please. Lymph is getting moved, but also fascia is being moved. Okay. Now, a really cool thing about fascia, remember I was saying it's like really dynamic and it has all these crazy qualities. One of the unbelievable things about fascia is at your normal body temperature, it's like this, you know, like when you chop the chicken in the white stringy bits, and you can see, oh yeah, it's got some tension to it, right? It's got some firmness to it. When you heat fascia above your core temperature, so when you sweat, when you exercise, when you're detoxing, right? When you soak in a hot bath and you get that, oh, I'm getting a bit pink, I'm getting a bit red, I'm getting flushed. When you sauna, okay? When you go under infrared light, that's one of my infrared lamps. When you go on our harmonizing mat, our Rejuvenest harmonizing mat with the Rejuvidome that goes on top of it to make a little portable sauna at home. When you are heating up your tissues beyond normal core temperature, this solid structure turns to gel. This solid structure turns into a flexible gel structure. I'm not joking. It is miraculous. You're a shapeshifter. So this solid structure turns to gel. And when it's in its gel state from a nice warm shower or just after you've exercised, if you manipulate and move that tissue, you reshape that tissue. Okay? And this is why hot yoga is so transformational, because people go into the hot room and then they move all of their fascia into these new positions and they completely transform their structure. So I don't know if you guys realize what a big deal this is, that a part of your body that we think is solid becomes gel. Oh yes, Annie Cole's reacting. Yes, saying, wow, that is so amazing. All right, good. I'm communicating then. That's great. It's not just going out there. Fabulous. So we want to use our beautiful massage balls to now reshape, remodel and smooth it out. So fascia gets bound up. Okay, so the most common term for fascia is bound fascia. Guess what adrenaline does? Tightens it. Do you think fresh blood, oxygen and nutrients is getting in there? Can I get a little survey says? What does the survey say? No, I'm not getting fresh blood, nutrients into that tissue. Why do muscles atrophy? Why do people go, oh, but yeah, no matter what, I haven't been able to grow that muscle, or I haven't been able to activate that muscle, or they don't get definition, right? Restricted fascia, bound fascia. Rollerballs, okay? If you've got nerve entrapment, rollerballs, yes, friend. And also, like, if you've got that abdomen, remember you were talking about the abdomen, you can use potting and proking and manipulating. Yes, Lisa, yes way, absolutely. Good. We're getting it. So it gets trapped. Then when we open up fascia and remodel it, like, it sticks to itself, right? Remember, it's the same tissue that's like, oh, when you get a scar, guess what's happening? It's literally getting glued. The lymph is gluing the fascia together for protection. Thank you, body, protecting me. So it won't work if you don't do a fascia. No, Laura, not at all. Your lymphatic drainage with the spiky side will work. Then if you use the gloves on their own, you're still getting a lymph and fascia modeling and mobilization. If you are wanting to completely remodel your tissue, release trapped nerves, deeper level of toxins, transform cellulite, which is just simply natural layers of fat, and the fascia is bound. Now, what happens when you get a sponge and a nice tight connective tissue net? That's cellulite. All you're seeing is healthy tissue that's being strangled, okay? Whether it's orange peel, whether it's wavy, whether it's dimply, whether it's the full-on hail kind of look, pitting, or like what we call car wreck, where people have actual like whole chunks and gashes, that is glued connective tissue, okay? And the fluid in your fascia has done something to go, oh, I have to tighten this area, I have to protect it. So thank you, beautiful body, for protecting me. And we now need to allow it to heal and get it remodeled. okay? And this isn't us just making it up. This is science, clinical studies. Oh, good, everyone's reacting, saying, wow, oh my God, this is a revelation. It is, and oh my God, that's interesting about the fascia heating up and softening. I need to use the balls more after my shower, absolutely, and after hot exercise. A pain in my underarms after using the balls is ridiculous. Just go a bit gentler, please, go a bit gentler, okay? Be gentle with the balls under your arms if you're getting sensitive. It means you're getting some sort of inflammatory response. Good, great. You might need to pop your cork a bit more. You might be getting a bit of buildup. You might need to just do a bit more on your chest and then get into the actual tissues. Okay, so after you've heated up or not, doesn't matter, because no matter what, if you do the sequence for a minute, you're crushing it. If you do the sequence for 2 minutes with just the spikies, you're crushing it. If you do the sequence for 3 minutes, oh my God, that's incredible. I don't recommend using the balls in the sauna because you're heating PVC, okay? I recommend that you have the sauna and you get out, you do the 2-minute flow. My recommendation there. Okay, awesome. Annie's saying she won't forget it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, so once you have, you know, done your first flow, then it's time for the second flow. And it's the exact same as your other flow, okay? It's you're working your chest. You're opening up all of the chest nodes. Okay, remember I've had a removal of breast tissue, so I'm like really comfortable with doing all of my chest area. But when you've got breasts, you need to like kind of move around, right? And the balls, when you roll, remember, if you need to be gentle because you've got tender skin, right? But if you've worked up to a certain level, the deeper you go, that's fascia release. And that sometimes also too can mean a little bit of bruising. If you're getting a bit of bruising in an area, you've just either broken some temporary little fragile blood vessels. They will heal, okay? Just don't go over them while they're still bruised. Let them heal. It can also be bound fascia getting released, and in that, yeah, there's little bits of blood supply. If you burst down really bound adhered fascia, you will get tiny little vessel leakages and you'll get bruising again. Let it heal, let it fully recover, because it's now healing in a better structure. So you know when you got a big knot in your hair? Well, fascia, the fibers of fascia are so like human hair, and it's made of the same stuff, made of keratin and all this other rad stuff, right? So you want to be like, when someone's got a knot in their hair, as someone with wavy, whirly, curly hair, the terror in me when I see someone pick up a brush and start brushing from the top of their head. Who knows what's wrong with picking up a brush and trying to brush from the top of their head? Yeah, the tightness across your back after the back muscles healed is probably a fascia issue. Yes, you probably, because our body will always overcompensate and give you more connective tissue restriction and bind up your fascia. Your body's assuming the injury is going to happen again, Anna. So it'd be really great to get some fascia release, and you can do it through like mobilization. If you've got someone in your house who's willing to volunteer to do your gloves with you, they can put a bit of rolly ball on your back, foam rollers, you name it. You can do all sorts of gear for yourself. But yeah, who knows what's wrong with getting a brush and starting to brush your hair from the top of your hair down? Come on, I'm going to wait for you. Who's got the answer? What is wrong with taking the hairbrush and doing it right from the top? I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. Oh yes, a curly girl here, Miss Mel. Miss Mel, what is wrong with starting brushing your hair from the top? What's wrong with that? Why wouldn't we do it? Yes, _Emily, you rip it out. You need to unlock it from the end up. So yeah, and this is just like fascia. Assume that you got a whole bunch of bound fascia. Wherever you've got dimpling, wherever you've got hardness, top. Yes, it makes the knots actually freaking worse. You're right. Well, thank you, everybody. So wherever you've got bound fascia, so that's wherever you've had an injury, wherever your posture is fixed for too long, wherever you're weak. If you've got musculoskeletal weakness, guess what? Your fascia just gets more rigid, okay? Wherever you've had, yes, gets more knotty. That's right, it's coming up in Facebook too. Yes, pain, knots, yes, all those things. So if you've got texture issues, some people get it on their tummy, some people it happens on their upper arms. This is bound fascia, okay? And you can have bound fascia to different levels, okay? And guess what happens when people start doing their gloves? When they start doing their gloves, they drain the fluid. And what exactly, Lisa? Bound fascia equals cellulite. It's not fat, it's fascia and fluid, okay? It's not fat. Say it with me, people. It's not fat. It is fascia and fluid, okay? And we want to restore tissue function. Tissue function, cellular health. If our goal is to look great, the only true way to do that is to have great functioning tissue. Okay, looking great temporarily because of some sort of cosmetic change. Sure, it's good, makes us feel good. But the real winner and the true beauty and the long-term like glow and flow and function and energy and functional thing is tissue function. So we do not start at the top of our hair. No, we do not also go in circles with our fascia, because fascia is fibers. Okay, so just like when you're brushing your hair, you don't brush your hair in a circle. We are trying to smooth out the fibers. Okay, so if you are trying to restore cellular function and you've got some of that bound fascia, maybe a bit of dimpling, bumpiness, maybe some hardness, okay, a lipoma is a bit of non-metabolically able to be used fat bound up in fascia. So if you release the fascia around it, your body's going to have the opportunity to do something with it, okay? So we do the exact same sequence. Like I said, we do the exact same sequence. We pop the cork, we open up, okay? I pay lots of attention around here. Big area of stagnation for humans. We're not getting much touch here. Okay, great. We've done all of our chest. Okay, cool. All right. Then we do elbows to shoulders. Okay, same again. We do wrists. And you're going as firm as you can. Same rule as the spiky side. Meet your body where it's at. Okay? And we're draining and we're getting the manipulation and oh God, it feels good. And if you've got somewhere like, oh, a couple of years ago, I developed like a little dimple in my arm. Oh, I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to give that little bit of an extra go. And like we said, if you're heated up from exercise or a sauna, hot shower, being out in the sun, being under an infrared lamp, oh my God, your fascia will be way more malleable because you have turned it into that gel state. Okay. And if you haven't, still doesn't matter. You still got all these huge benefits. Okay. So then we're doing our abdomen, our tummy. Okay. So again, we're checking all of our top of our bowel that runs across here. Am I lumpy still? What's going on? And I like to even pat myself with the balls. I love how they feel. And absolutely bingo wings. You name it, tuck shop lady arms. Check out my tuck shop lady arms. I'm postmenopausal. I've had surgical menopause. Look at that. Look at that, baby. It restores all your tissue function. If you've had rapid weight loss, if you've got like Ozempic, wrinkly skin, crepey skin. My mother-in-law, she uses hers on her wattle. This is called a wattle, in case none of you know what it is. The bit that gets all connective tissue-y. It's phenomenal, the difference. It is phenomenal. All just like lifts and tightens up. Your body has this endless capacity to restore its function. So, like I said, we chest, elbows to shoulder, wrist to shoulder. We're done there. I also like to do a little bit of over my shoulder because I'm someone who collects fluid around my neck from having post-viral chronic fatigue from glandular fever that they thought was tonsillitis, gave me 12 doses of antibiotics in a year, got gross secondary infections, took out my tonsillitis, turned out it was glandular fever. Ha ha ha. So I've got compromised tissue there. So I get like the puffiness. So the collarbone thing, when people regain their collarbones, I'm so happy for them. I know how that feels. Then we do our back to front. Okay. And firm as you can. Stimulate, remodel that connective tissue. If your skin's not going pink, it's a problem. There's no blood flow. So you'll discover when you do this, there's all these patches of you. This is the digestion. Remember, bottom, right, up, left, down. Okay. They discover, oh, I can do all of this stuff. But guess what? I've got all this kind of like white little patches, pink and white speckling. Guess what? Bound fascia. Because if your fascia is tight, it's restricting the blood vessels. Remember I said, if your fascia is not moving, fresh blood isn't coming in, waste is not coming out. When waste doesn't come out, it crystallizes, it hardens. The tissue gets more bound. Must use balls. Emily, I love it. Must use balls, she says. Okay, so we are finishing all of our abdomen, doing my booty, getting that digestive tract going as deep as you can tolerate, okay? The person who said that they had some sort of adhesions and restrictions in their abdomen, nerve entrapment, this is where you get to explore and play and see how you feel. You can go up, 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 up. There's no problem with that. A lot of people who've got like cesarean scars, what people call the fupa, the fat upper pussy area. That's all connective tissue and fascia from sitting all day and literally having a kink in the hose. So we're just sitting there trapping our lymph flow, trapping our blood flow, and teaching our fascia that it should stay in that position. I always think about how fascia is like if you had one of those outdoor chairs, those folding chairs, and you like put it away in the garden shed for years and years and years, and it got a bit rusty and a bit crusty and a bit rigid. And then you take it out after all those years and you just like expect it to work, and it's like, just like connective tissue, okay? You don't move it, you lose it. And hey, I'm Emily from Chelsey's team said, what about knee? And with a Y, I'd tell baby, tell me, what do you mean, what about knee? Would it help with severe case of my, neuralgia? Oh, neuralgia, nerve dysfunction. You need to really work with, like, remember, nerve stimulation from the spikes, fascia release. We have loads of miraculous stories. People have neuralgia from scarring, neuralgia from accidents. There's also types of neuralgia that can happen after viral infections. So again, you've got to start with where you're at with your body, see how it responds, and just gently keep taking the feedback, because there's no one size fits all. How long have you been sedentary? How long have you been consuming toxic environments, getting exposed to EMF, drinking water where the fluoride level competes with your body's ability to absorb all its correct nutrients, and drinking competitive chemicals that bung up your receptors and bump off the nutrients? You name it, you've got your own unique story. And everyone also biologically has their own constitutional factors, their genetics, right, around how well do they respond to things. So you're going to have to go with your own flow there and respond. Okay, so we want to be, like I said, always brushing up, because we're going eventually towards the heart. We're getting all this fluid towards the heart, okay? And then we're doing our legs. All right, so same thing again. We're doing beautiful strokes all in one direction, okay? All in one direction, not doing circles. Remember, you wouldn't brush the knot out of your hair. You won't get the knots out of your fascia by going round and round. We are smoothing out the tissues, like ironing on an ironing board. You don't go circles, you go smooth, 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 okay? Oh, you're so welcome, Jenny. Okay, and then we're going from knees to pelvis, okay? And then we're doing our ankles up to our hips, ankles to hips. So again, picture yourself in the bathroom, covered in Chelsey Jean lymphatic cream, few sprays of mag and MSM in your sensitive areas where you need extra attention from inflammation, injury. Maybe you've got muscle soreness, and now you are pushing everything back up to the heart again, using the balls to the depth that you can tolerate, never pain. Okay, a little bit of discomfort is okay, but never pain. And paying attention all the time. Paying attention to, where is it tender? Is it tender today? Oh, it's different today. Well, that feels different now. Oh, one of the biggest things you'll notice is with doing the ball work is I can go deeper. Like, it actually gets unlocked, and that's your fascia releasing. And then suddenly, it's like it lets you in. Suddenly, you're able to go to that next level down. It's like a revelation. Okay, paying attention all the time to how you're feeling in your posture, how you can move, and that circulation response. Do I have sections of my tissue that go pink and sections of my tissue that will not go pink? The sections of your tissue that don't go pink, there's bound fascia, right? Bound fascia, squeezing everything, not letting fresh blood in, not letting waste out. So when you press it, blood should come to the area. It should go pink. And if you're pressing it, stimulating it, mobilizing it, and it's still not going pink, whoa, we got some bound connective tissue, we've got some bound fascia. So that might be an area where you're like, ooh, I'm going to give that a bit of extra attention. A lot of women who've got like a smooth stomach and smooth thighs and smooth upper arms, who then after doing their lymphatic flow suddenly have this difference in appearance, a speckledy appearance or a waviness appearance, or suddenly little dimples and bumps, are upset. They are like, hold on, I never had cellulite before. And because of the way our culture is, cellulite's like a personal failing or something ridiculous. Our world is so ridiculous. Okay, remember, cellulite is healthy tissue, fat and muscle, that the tissue's bound, right? So you're seeing the little bits of natural flesh poking through your connective tissue. It's not fat, it is fascia and fluid. And if you've been a smooth person, this happened to me with my stomach. I'd never had dimpling on a part of my body before. And when I started doing fascia release, I started to get these dimples on my tummy. And I was like, no. And guess what? I'd gotten through the first layer of my fascia, okay? And moving all that fluid and revealing what was underneath. Oh, guess what? When you take away that little layer of puff, it's the truth about what's going on under the surface with the connective tissue, right? So I was, upset, annoyed. And then I was like, okay, this is what's actually really going on in terms of my connective tissue health. That's a big deal to me. If I want healthy blood flow, if I want cellular health, if I want detoxification, if I want waste removal, if I want to be able to use my muscles properly, if I want to be able to know that's, what's going on underneath those muscles, oh my gosh, that's all my digestion. If I want optimal function, then I've got to confront the truth about what's going on. So yeah, then it meant more persistent, and now it's smoothed out again. And sometimes that takes people 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes people 2 years, okay? Because none of us know before we start how deep the connective tissue tension really is. So we can't predict, okay? This is all part of what to expect is you will have tissue changes. And we call it worse before better. All over the world, the people who are aware of fascia know that, if I release the top layer of fascia, what will be revealed is underneath. And then, right, well, what's underneath? Let's have a look. And it might not be pretty. And it might not have good circulation. And there might not be strong lymphatic function. Okay, great. Let's work on that and work on that. Because no matter what, the appearance to us, that's a bonus, great appearance improvement. But it's secondary to the tissue function. Someone says, do you have to use the cream and spray before using the balls? No, you do not. Okay. However, be aware that you may get some pinching. Some people with their skin, it's crepey and they've got issues with looseness, they actually get catching. Okay. So having a medium to glide with. There's also something incredible, which is your skin naturally provides friction to any firm surface like the balls. If you take away that friction, just like when a massage therapist has between their skin and your skin when they have oil, it's like the skin doesn't exist anymore. It's like they're now in your tissue, okay? So that friction, that natural friction, and remember, skin has its own electrical charge, that can be a limitation, a thing that's in the way. So any kind of, cream, like we said before, cream, some people do shower gel as well. Which is great because that's a 2-in-1. Your balls get cleaned at the same time, but we do want some sort of medium so that the balls are going to the right depth of tissue, so you're getting that effect of the massage balls. So the dual action, is spiky sides for lymphatic stimulation and drainage, balls for deep lymphatic stimulation, drainage, and fascia remodeling. Fascia is muscles too. It feels good. It feels really, really good. Okay, we've got a great question. I've noticed my stretch marks on my tummy go red after using the gloves. Hallelujah. Stretch marks are normally silvery white, right? And that's normal tissue that has literally been stretched. And that's connective tissue. In stretch marks, you can actually see your connective tissue. If you get in right close, you can see it's connective tissue and the skin has been pulled so much. And what you're seeing underneath is not a normal layer of fat. You're seeing it skin straight onto connective tissue. The skin is bonded onto that connective tissue. So when you're using your balls to bring circulation in, you're actually restoring the tissue function under the scar tissue. And that's why people's scar tissue from stretch marks and scarring improves. I had revolutionary results on an unexpected area from doing fascia remodeling. I had a naturally kind of widely accepted, culturally normalized dead area above my cesarean section scar. Heaps of people, because of the nerves that they cut, there's a little circle kind of disc area where they just are sort of numb. You tap it, you're touching it, but there's no standard nerve function. Anyone else had that? Shout out, let us know. Within about 3 or 4 treatments of mobilizing my fascia with the proper depth and firmness, and heat to make the fascia jelly, that nerve function came back. And I was so shocked. I was doing all that fascia work for my neck, right? I didn't, and my compartment syndrome, my arm and stuff from that nerve damage. But that area completely got restored. So yes, scar tissue from illness, injury, surgery, stretch marks, crepiness, pregnancy, and all the things that cause great stress to our skin. Hello, fascia, you're my friend. Okay, people with burns, it's a slightly different story because you've got different cellular structure, but that's for another day. Okay, someone said from Instagram, just had a mastectomy and reconstruction. Should I give myself some MLD on myself while in hospital still? MLD means manual lymphatic drainage. That's what you're doing with your gloves. Okay, so how I did it, Kay, because I had a double prophylactic mastectomy, but I didn't have a reconstruction, is I worked around my areas. So I worked around my areas. If you don't have your gloves with you, you can do like the Qigong cupping hand method. It's not the same. It's not the same as the spiky stimulation for drainage. It's just not the same nerve depth and sensory feedback, but hands are better than nothing, okay? Hands are absolutely better than nothing, all right? So yeah, we want to be gently stimulating all around those collarbones, the top of the chest where there's no actual breast tissue. I got a real big surprise when I had my breast surgery, woke up and all the whole top half of my chest was the same. I was like, oh, I thought that was my boobs. It was actually just my chest. So you can do all that area and be really gentle, you know, so that 1 or 2 minutes a day. Don't go hard. You don't need extra swelling, right? Body's already put all that swelling in to heal that area. And remember, where we get too much swelling, too much fluid, it jacks up our fascia even more and congests it and stagnates. So if you've got a bunch of fluid and you're moving your body and you're giving gentle drainage support, you're doing post-surgical compression, all of that fabulous, preventing excess fluid buildup, wonderful. And you can support yourself. You can be doing your points on your tummy and around your diaphragm. One of the reasons they get us doing all that big deep breathing is to stop us getting congestive fluid issues. The booties that you're going to wake up with that are compressing your legs, that are now standard in tissue and surgical recovery, guess what they're doing? They're pumping your fascia and pumping your fluid. It's all about lymph return, venous and blood return. So you'll get a lot of help in the hospital with your legs, right? It's your job to take care of your upper body. Please don't work directly on your wounds or scars, as we know, and do all those shoulder exercises. They are so, so critical for your long-term function. And if the easier and more mobility and range of motion that you're getting early on in your recovery process, remember, fascia is a gel and then it gets rigid, right? So if your body heals, remember when we have a surgery or an injury, we protect the area. Remember, it's all protection mechanisms. Thank you, beautiful body, for protecting us, but it kind of overdoes it. It's like an overzealous, protector. So if you're healing like this and they're saying, do your deep breaths, try to relax your shoulders and put your head back to get that open chest function again. We absolutely want that because you don't want to heal in this position. Your fascia will lock down and it'll go into whatever shape you make it. If you guys haven't ever looked at Olympians and elite athletes or builders or samurai fighters or, martial artists and gone, gosh, you can tell when someone does a certain sport because they have literally their connective tissue has shaped their whole body. Whatever you practice, whatever positions, postures, activities you're practicing over and over and over again, you are literally sculpting your body, and your fascia is like the framework for that. Okay, so beautiful. Okay, so fascia, what have we done? Okay, we've done that the fascia connects everything. Okay, fascia health is critical for lymphatic health because the fascia encases every single tissue and function. If your fascia is bound and squeezing down your lymph vessels all the time, well, guess what? You're not getting that lovely spongy effect of your lymphatic fluid coming in, and being able to fully refill. Spongy, squeeze, spongy, squeeze. Okay, we want optimal lymphatic health for our cellular health, our metabolic health, our mental health, our digestive health, our immune function, our hormone function. Oh my gosh, yes, we want that. And if you want optimal lymphatic function, we need optimal fascial function. Then, of course, the bonus for the fascia, But what you're doing with those beautiful round balls, that deeper work in your tissues, is you're also getting optimal musculoskeletal function. So the nerves, the muscles, the fibers, the joints, the ligaments, the tendons. Ooh, yes, please, talk dirty to me. Having all them be healthy, nourished, fresh blood and nutrients and oxygen in, waste out and removed, no crystallization, no calcification, no stagnant inflammation. Yes, please. I want to do everything in my power to stay in optimal health as long as I can. All right, so now we've had a lot of questions come up throughout here. I want to check which questions have I not answered. Okay, questions about the gloves, questions about the sequence. Like I said, no wrong way to do the sequence. If you're just getting the spiky sides done in your car, fabulous, thank you. If you're getting the whole sequence done and you're doing it as a beautiful, long, luxurious ritual and it's taking you 15 minutes, wonderful. I am thrilled for you. Thrilled for you, okay? If you are doing, quick spiky side before I start exercising, amazing, great. Because remember, musculoskeletal contraction is one of the big things that squeezes all of the lymphatic fluid. Imagine all your sponges getting squeezed and pushing all that waste out of your tissue just before you come and give a whole bunch of fresh blood to that tissue, which is going to create a whole bunch more lymph fluid, because every time blood is going into fluid, lymph is getting moved out into the lymphatic system. It's always coming out of the blood into the tissues. So yeah, use your spiky sides before the exercise. Amazing. If you can only get the rollerballs done at night, I don't care. 2 minutes a day. Spikies and balls, you're in the perfect world. If you can just do spikes, great. If you can just do balls, great. If you're doing it balls over fabric because your skin is too tender, you've got a nerve issue, thank you. Thank you for doing that for yourself. Oh, okay, someone's got, do you need to do the gloves in the morning and night as well? Well, same thing again. Timing is personal, okay? Some people do their gloves at night and it's like exercising at night for them, where they're suddenly like, hi, I'm really awake. I'm really aware. I've got so much energy. I've got all this mental clarity. Why don't I just go organize my life and do my taxes and think about all the 3 businesses I could start, and why can't I sleep? And oh my God. So you have to, if that's you and that's not the experience you want to be having, like that's what's happening for you, if that's you and you don't want to have that, yeah, maybe don't do your glove sequence at night, okay? If you do the gloves in the morning and you get like detox symptoms and you're like, oh, and I felt gross all day, or I felt a bit smelly, or I was like burping, or I was pooping a lot more, well then maybe save the gloves for home time, right? If you've got mobility issues, if you have issues with like walking and things like that, mobilizing, doing your glove sequence not related to the shower or the bath or whatever, and just doing it in bed. You know, a lot of people wake up, grab their gloves and just start doing, popping the cork and releasing the chest before they even wake up, moving their shoulders, you know, getting that whole area mobilized and stimulated while they're still lying down in bed. Totally fine. There's no wrong way to do it. We care about when is it going to work for you. So if you're someone who can just only get to doing your glove sequence 4 times a week just because of the way your life or circumstances, some people have chronic illness, chronic injuries, we're happy with whatever you can get in, because it's all about consistency, exactly the same as exercise. There's people who exercise 4 days a week and there's people who exercise once every 2 weeks. I would much prefer that someone exercises once every 2 weeks than not exercising, if you get my drift. It's all about what's going to fit your life. Meet yourself where you're at, not just in terms of, you know, the level of stimulation and pressure. It's not just, oh, how deep can I get into my tissues? No, those are all like ego nonsense, kind of like the stuff with our appearance. Yes, it matters, but what's really important is your tissue function. Tissue function is health in your old age. Tissue function is being able to get up a flight of stairs. Tissue function is being able to wipe your own butt. Tissue function is being able to take care of yourself. Tissue function is being able to fall and not break your hip, okay? Oh, if you've come in late, you can watch the replay. Join our community on Facebook. We've got the world's largest lymphatic health community called BooB CamP, built by our extraordinary founder, Chelsey. Our mission is to impact over 5 million women in the world. Our incredible team is, You would not believe the team we had. Chelsey's trained hundreds of practitioners around the world. They're called our preferred practitioners if you're looking for a practitioner in your area. If you're suspicious you have a lymphatic condition like lymphedema, lipedema, chronic edema, don't know what's happening, you want support in using your gloves. You need to find someone to show you how to use your gloves. If you're just not confident because of online videos, that's okay. Some people don't learn that way. They need to like be shown and handheld and stuff. All that's perfect. Go talk to one of our preferred practitioners. You can use our link in bio to find our website, or click the link to join BooB CamP, or find a preferred practitioner. You can buy all of our products on our website, including all of our frequency and compression devices. Because yeah, that whole spongy thing, compression devices do that. They squeeze everything all at once for you. They're phenomenal. So you can use our CJ & Co range for that, and also our frequency products. Remember I said pH and cellular frequency. Every organ system has a particular resting potential. It's an electrical function that you can measure. If you have an itis, any inflammatory stuff, if you know you're dealing with, you're slow to recover, you have like all that brain fog, your bowels aren't behaving the way they used to, maybe you're not responding to the immune function, maybe you're being medicated, all of that affects pH. So you can change your electrical function, which will automatically change your pH, and pH determines cellular health. So our harmonizing mat is the most popular product. It's on back order right now. Don't let that stop you. Get one. You don't want to miss out. We custom order all the batches. We have them delivered to us, and then we send them out to you. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you for all the great feedback. We do have another question about plantar fasciitis. Do you use the gloves under your feet? Okay, so hands and feet. How's this? Hands, feet, and ears and a little bit of nose, like the cartilage and stuff, they don't have the same structure as the rest of our tissue. It's really unusual. There's a couple of diseases that make it very obvious, like lymphedema, that cuff that people have at their wrist, and the cuff that they have at their ankle. That's often one of the biggest telltale signs of lymphedema, is that it's puffy and then it's like a normal hand, or it's puffy and then there's a normal foot, right? When you have plantar fasciitis, the fascia in the foot is actually not the problem. That's the end point. It's the insertion point of that whole posterior chain. So the posterior chain actually ends at your eyebrows, and it runs over the top of your head and all down your back and down the back of your legs. So if you've got plantar fasciitis symptoms in your feet, all that's happening is that band of tissue, okay, that's running all the way there, is the bit at the end where it's the weakest and it's fusing into bone. That's the weakest link, and that's where you're getting your integrity loss. So instead of feeling the pain all through this thick band of tissue, which is, covering all your nerves, doing all that stuff, it's inserting into the sole of your foot, and the tighter and tighter the fascia gets, the more and more bound and jacked up it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. It's literally pulling away from the lining of the bone on your foot, the bursa, and that's what creates the chronic inflammatory pattern. And every time you stand on that foot, the pain, right? Just like compartment syndrome in the shins, the pain. Fascia, no joke, no joke. So as it's pulling and getting more inflamed, and the lining of the bone's getting more inflamed, you're getting the pain signal. The problem didn't start in your foot, okay? Plantar fasciitis usually starts after you've had a period of immobility, illness, injury, particularly lower back, or guess what? Postmenopausal or perimenopausal musculoskeletal syndrome, less estrogen. As our estrogen drops, it's a natural anti-inflammatory. So what used to get inflamed, but the blanket of estrogen would kind of smother the fire, is no longer happening. It's not there. It's not working the same way. And our detoxification pathways get compromised. You need to mobilize your detoxification pathways. You need to regulate and spread around as much of those awesome hormones that your body's still creating. And you need to release that fascial band. So the work that you do on your sequence, on your back, around your bum, your hamstrings, all of that with your roller balls, the back of your calves. People are so avoidant of the back of their calves and their back of their knees. It is often one of the most tender points in our body that gets the least amount of attention, nerve stimulation. So if you've got plantar fasciitis, please, the calf, like the calves, that lower limb is basically three, like I think about it in a very crude way from having been a sports therapist all those years ago. Imagine that it's three sausages wrapped around two bones, and you've got some of the most dense fascia in your body around your lower legs. And fair enough too, because they're some of the most vulnerable parts of our body. If you think about how we evolved to walk through like scrubs and get scraped by trees, or to have, you know, kids and dogs and stuff run and crash into us, and we, you know, run into things and we bash our shins and we do all this stuff and we kick our shins and things like that. So we've got a lot of dense connective tissue. Some of the densest stuff is from knee to ankle. And yeah, imagine it's like sausage in a casing. And as the fascia gets jacked up, they just get tighter and tighter and tighter, right? So compromise the fresh, healthy blood, you know, oxygen, nutrients, all of that oxygen going into, did I say oxygen twice? Sorry. Going into the tissue and then also being removed. So if there's any compromise to tissue function, if that fascia is getting bound, if it's tightened up, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So we often have, hypersensitive nerves. So special attention with your spiky sides on the back of your calves. Then making sure you are not avoiding and rushing that back line of your calves and your knees. Okay, people who get the sore knee reaction, it's often your pelvis where you're a little bit congested in your lymphatic flow, so extra attention to your pelvis and the front of your groin. If it's ankle pain, foot pain, yeah, it's your knee. Your knee is the next junction. Your knee is the next section. So please give a lot of attention, back of your legs, back of your hamstrings, back of your calves. Okay. Oh, you're all being so wonderful to me. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Natasha from Detoxia. Thank you to all our amazing people on Instagram as well. I'm going to ask Mads, our fabulous assistant, to just make sure as well that our link to chelseygene.com.au, where we sell all our naturopathically formulated products that are specifically designed to optimize your lymphatic function. Pair them with your gloves. This is our core line that we've built our whole philosophy on, and it's been through decades literally of working with women's bodies, working in the holistic space and innovating to make sure that people are getting real solutions. They can take their health back into their own hands with low tox, detox, self-management. You do as much as you can, whatever you can fit into your lifestyle. Of course, adapt it to different health conditions. Of course, get advice from your healthcare provider if you've got specific conditions or concerns. But we just have the most phenomenal community and phenomenal results, like the beautiful, you know, elderly people who come and say, my skin used to tear and now their skin doesn't bruise and tear. That's a revelation. These are people in their 70s and 80s. The women who have got a remission on medication and been able to gradually reduce medication or completely stop taking medication, because your lymphatic system is the glue, the lymph and the fascia, the glue that is literally binding everything together, connecting every system, ensuring that your tissues are staying young and vital, waste is being removed, that you're processing your environment effectively, regulating hormone function, regulating your metabolism. So we have all sorts of incredible stories, people around, like, you know, non-verbal autistic children suddenly being able to communicate. We've got people with brain fog. It's just been proven that the lymphatic drainage, yes, it's the amyloid protein is the one that's the dementia, the main dementia cause. And guess what? When you drain your lymph, the lymph out of your head and your neck, guess what protein's getting removed? It's getting removed while you sleep, and it's also getting removed from your lymphatic drainage. Yes, please. I don't want to have type 3 diabetes, dementia. No, thank you very much. I don't want endocrine disorders. Thank you very much. I've already had one. Should we use our gloves under our feet? If it feels good, do it. Absolutely. If it feels good, do it. You're very knowledgeable, Helen. Oh, I watch so much on Chelsey Gene, and this video makes so much sense. Thank you. Like I said, if you see me in the group, I'm going off. I'm going off when anyone's talking about cellulite. And I'm like, oh my God, let me tell you, it's not fat. It is fluid and fascia. And let's make those tissues as healthy as possible. They are signs of tissue function. It's not this, you know, failure of, oh my God, I've got cellulite. No. Let's get tissue function optimized. And then you get the benefit of great tissue and good looking tissue. Yes, please. And that can take a while, because remodeling tissue and cycles of cells being regenerated, layers of functional tissue being restored. That can take a while, all right? Oh, we've got Shirley. Thanks, Emily. It was amazing info on plantar fasciitis. You're right. My legs between my knees and my ankles are quite tender. Yeah, it's your posterior fascia chain. Yeah, and that's what's the foot isn't the issue. It's the fascia chain. Thanks, Shirley, for your comment. Really appreciate that. That made a difference to you. Can't wait to hear how you go. The other thing you'll see me going off in our BooB camp group about, of course, is when people are talking about their skin integrity, right? And what we need to do to re-stimulate and get our skin going properly. I'm always like, are you kidding me? Like, if a part of your body was like weak and vulnerable, you wouldn't be like, oh, I'm just going to leave it alone, or I'm going to just like work around that. No, you'd be like, how do I make this stronger? It's incredible. Kelly Zam on Instagram, is there a minimum age you can start using gloves? All right, infants, no information on infants, right? But we know that, yeah, kids as young as 8 is what I personally know who've started using the gloves. Fabulous. And again, meet them where they're at. If they're interested and they're willing, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Oh, we've got some others here. Your daughter's 14. Oh, yeah, perfect. I mean, my daughter's does a bunch of competitive dancing. It's been great for us. Do you have to use the oils when using the gloves or use it on dry skin for best results? Okay, spiky side on dry skin, best results. Some people want to use the spikes in the shower. That's okay, but just remember you're getting the lymphatic drainage benefits, but the nerve stimulation, which stimulates stem cells, collagen, all of the things. Like, why just have one of the things when you could have all of the things? Sorry, I'm being cheesy now. But yeah, the spikes on dry skin is like your gold standard, okay? And then the balls, roller balls, for that tissue level of depth of moving the deeper lymphatic structures and remodeling fascia, we recommend the combination of lymphatic cream and magfatics for skin plumping, fascial hydration, the specific herbal extracts and essential oils that are in here for tissue and vessels tonification and strength and detoxification. And then the mag, you know, it's basically an aloe gel, very anti-inflammatory, arnica, reducing tissue inflammation, increasing like the removal of cellular waste, anti-inflammatory, detoxification, and high in magnesium and MSM, which is a very old school, incredibly well researched. Like the two supplements that are the most researched in the world and validated are creatine and MSM. MSM, like I said, your grandma will know about it. It's like you use it for arthritic pain and inflammatory pain. So anything systemic inflammation, particularly inflammation, MSM is a dream. So optimal flow is you're using both. But we also understand that not everybody has monetary access to buying products. Not everybody has the mobility. Some people have reactions, like what if I'm allergic to aloe? Well, God, okay, then you can't use one of our aloe-based products, right? So we understand that not everything can be a fit for everybody. Everybody is different, own different circumstances, different tolerances, different health issues. So you do what you can. And if you can, get something to get you slip on the skin. Like I said, some people will do their balls in the shower with shower gel. For other people, it's just like a cream, a lotion, other types of oil. Some people's skin tolerate oil really well, just great. Magnesium oil is not actually an oil. It's a dense hydration water-based formula. Okay, Annie says, I just did my routine with the magnetic mag oil and your cream while you were talking. Oh, so good, Annie. Thank you. I'm glad that was your moment. Yay, yay, yay. And I'm really fascinated. I have a theory. I have a really interesting theory, and it's just a little whispering in my brain. I would love all the TCM acupuncture people to tell me about what happens when I'm using the magnetic balls on these meridian pathways. Anyway, that's just a little personal inquiry. You know, I've been obsessed with fascia for 10 years and it's paid off. So maybe meridians will be my next obsession. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. BooB Camp has been such a thrill. Thank you for supporting the incredible Chelsey G mission of reaching 5 million women around the globe with lymphatic health. We are ready to share you with your friends, tag your people, save this video, you know, pop it in your save things. Make sure you're visiting our Facebook group so much regularly. You know, we've got so much going on in there. Community questions all the time. Our practitioners are in there. Like I said, if you want to find a Chelsey Gene practitioner, check out our practitioners page. If you want to go to our link in bio, get the information about our CJ and Co devices, the compression devices where you get everything squeezed for you. Oh, it's amazing. It's like a massage at home. People use it for recovery, lymphatic conditions. If you've got lymphatic health conditions or mobility issues, there's a chance in Australia that you can get NDIS support and funding. Oh, you're welcome, Debbie. You're welcome, Helen. Thank you, thank you. And then, of course, our harmonizing mat, Rejuvidome and Rejuvenest, all designed around restoring that correct electrical function in all of our cells, right? So I love you all. Peace out. BooB Camp, it's been so much fun. I can't wait to learn more about all of you, see you in the group. And for those of you who are therapists, practitioners in the medical, complementary or allied health world, come and talk to us about lymphatics, a live workshop so you can incorporate lymphatic health into your practice. You get mentored directly by Chelsey and myself. All right, I think that's it. I think I've said all the things. Have I missed anything? Okay. Thanks heaps for tonight. Found it really interesting. No worries. And yeah, we may not do tomorrow night because like me as a special guest for this round of BooB Camp, we might not need to do tomorrow night because we kind of covered our whole thing. So if you want to deep dive into more lymphatic health, come watch the replay. Come into our group and watch our incredible guest talks on thyroid function, on lipedema, on lymphedema, on peptides, on detoxification, on, oh my gosh, you name it, the topics are in there. It's phenomenal. That's our BooB Camp Facebook community. And you can, be part of this movement of people taking back their health and empowering themselves. All right, beauties. Good night. Good night, beautiful Facebook people. Good night, Instagram land. See you soon. Bye-bye.